Hello, Cherries, and welcome to Live Cherry Sunday, Special Monday, episode 225. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to build the 7 diatonic chords of a key using major chords, minor, and diminished chords. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Hello, Jeffrey Boyle. Give you a round of applause. All right. Let me give you a little example here, basically, of what we're going to do. Really simple. We're going to start off in the key of C today, the C major scale. Nope, not the E chord. C. C major scale, going up the A string, starting on the 3rd fret. C note right there. We'll play diads. And triads. Oops. You can also play them on, starting on bar chords. On the A string and also on the E string. All right, so if you're enjoying this so far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. Good afternoon, Jeffrey Boyle. This is going to be a really good one here today. For all you Mondayers out here, right? So let me know what you're drinking out there. I got some coffee, a little bit of coffee, as you can see. Look, it's not spilling. That means there's only a couple sips left. How sad, because it was really good. That's all right. We got the rest of the day to drink coffee if we want. Today, it's about drinking coffee and playing some guitar. So this is a real good one. In my last few videos, I got a lot of questions about this exact topic, about, how to distinguish major chords from minor chords. Like, how do I know? Because I did some videos on the 7 chords of the diatonic key. And in this video, I'm going to explain how to build the chords exactly. It's really simple. So, what we're going to do here is, first of all, also, I want to know, I have a question. What is your understanding on how to build chords of a key? So that would be really cool to know. I'd like to know what your understanding is of how to build chords of a key, because I'm going to show you how I do it right now, which is, I didn't make up this stuff. This is just the way it is, the way it worked out, right? So it all starts here with the major scale. And if you look at this, I'll show you this on this camera right here where it's a little clearer to the guitar neck here. So, if you start on the major scale here, going up to C, right? What you get is the major scale, but you have a series of steps here that you have. You have a whole step, then a half step. You have whole, half, whole, half here. So what that means is that you have a whole step is 2 steps. right here. A half step is just going up one from C to C sharp right there. Okay? Half step is just going up one to C sharp. A whole step, we're going up 2 steps to D right there. So to D. So if you think of the major scale, oops. The first note from C to D is a whole step. And this formula is the same for every key right here. Whole step, you get a whole step, then a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half. So that is the formula that makes up the major scale. It also makes up the 7 chords, which is why I'm showing you this. So you have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Just like that. So as you can see, when you have a whole, starting from the C, if you have a whole, that goes from 1, 2, 3. Because the names of the notes are also numbers. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the 1 again, which is 8 or 1 right there. You know, they call this the Nashville system in a way too, and a lot of people don't like to call it the Nashville system because it's actually just a number. It's a number system that goes back way before the Nashville system, before they incorporated it into their Nashville charts type of thing. So it's all the same. It's the number system. It goes back to what, the 1700s right there. So, you know, the people in Nashville can't take credit for this for this system, so to speak. Me, I don't care either way. It's just a system. Doesn't matter whatever you call it. It's just the numbers. It's just the way it works out. So the major scale is always going to be whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? And it's also 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you know just that basic amount of information right there, Nashville Cats, Jeffrey Boyle. This basic amount of information, you could play any chord with just these 7 notes. Because you're also going up letters. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C again. There's only 7 notes. There's only 7 letters in the musical alphabet. And it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it goes around and around and around, A, B, C, D, F, G. But here we're starting on the C. So we're just continuing that with C, D, E, F, G, and then A again. So then it would be B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You know, it just keeps going around and around. I can do that all day, but we won't. So, yeah. And, okay, so now we know that we're doing whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. You know, what we're doing here is, now to build the chords, we're doing something that they call stacking thirds. Okay, and stacking thirds is just going in thirds, which means you're skipping a note each time. So from the 1, you're going to skip the 2, and you're going to go to the 3. So you have 1, skip 2, and go to 3. Skip the 4, and go to 5. So those are the notes of the chord, the 1, 3, and the 5. Not the 2 and the 4. For now, that can make up an extension of the chord, but just for a basic chord or a triad, which is 3 notes, you would go C, skip the D, hit the E, skip the F, and go to the G. So you have C, E, and G. And that makes up your first chord, your C chord. But of course I can't play it all on one string here. So that's where the other strings come in handy. And just so you know here, real quick, you know, the way the guitar is laid out is you have 6 strings. You have the E, low E, A, the E, A, the D, G, B, and E. And they go in fourths, basically go E to A to D, D to G. Here's the only one that's tricky is the G to the B, which is a third. Then you have the B to the E. So that's important to know. And, you know, good to be in tune as well to the standard 440 tune. So now if I'm working from just the A string here, we have, starting on the C, we went over this already, but you have the C major scale. We're stacking thirds, where we're skipping the second note going to there. So you have the three notes. Now, I mean, you can't play a chord that way, right? You can't play a chord from the C to the E to the G. So I'm going to play those next notes on the next string. So instead of playing the E on the A string here, I'm going to play the E note on the next string, the D string. It just so happens to be here. So it's a D. So D to E. So right here. That's a C dyad, meaning two notes. So I got this, the root and the third right here. Now that other note, so it's the same thing here. C, E, C, E. So that's that shape. Whenever you see that shape, you know it's a major chord. No matter where you are, if you're here, or if you're up here, or if you're up here, if you're C, if you start on the F, it's an F major, G, wherever. C up here, C, G, F. Whenever you see that, it's major. If you see a shape like that, you know it's minor. And we'll get to that in a second. But C, E, G up here. Now how am I going to play that G? Because I already have the C here, the E here. Well, here's the G, open, the fourth string. Same note. Hopefully that sounds the same. Close enough for rock and roll. Different timbre, because you're hitting the note in a different area, in a different string. Here's a G, here's a G. So play it here. So there's your triad of your C chord. C, E, G, right there. So that's how you build the chord, based on the major scale. C, E, G, C, E, G. And play it together. C chord. And of course, I could play the C right here on the B string and get a full C chord. I could even hit the open E, because it's the same note, only an octave higher. And that's how you get this cowboy chord right here, the C-shaped C. That's how it's built. Based on this, how we just did it. C, E, and G. And of course you have the C here again, and the E again. Just C, major chord. Now we're going to move up to the next one, up to the D, and build the minor chord. So any questions about this stuff, please let me know. And taking a swig here of my coffee. It's about to get juicy. We're getting into some good stuff. Hopefully you're getting value from this. You find it useful. I don't know what else you'd want to do here on a Monday besides play guitar, right? I just got back from a tour, and we played 4 shows in 8 days. So we had a few days off, where we played in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Then we went right to Tucson, Arizona, to New Braunfels, Texas, which is right by the Alamo. Believe it or not. And no, I didn't see Ozzy Osbourne there. And Sloan, Arizona, and then back here where I am in Brooklyn, New York. And then it's back to the West Coast this weekend coming up. But we're back here in Brooklyn and happy to be home here. And the weather outside is not frightful, but it's quite beautiful. It's like 70 degrees and sunny out. When I finish here today, I'm going to go out and just run some errands here in the city, New York City. So, all right. So let's continue here. If you're enjoying this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, all that groovy stuff right there, you know. And any questions, please let me know while I'm here live in the chats or in the comments later or whenever you watch this. So, all right, going back to here. Let's switch this over to here. Okay, let me just see if I can fix this here a little bit. Yeah, I had to back that up, get my hand in there in the camera. Change the camera view a little. All right, so here we go. So now we started on the C, right? This stuff's fun, isn't it? Isn't this fun? Just love this. I mean, it's very, very simple, but it's, you know, related to guitar, and I'm all about simple. So we did C. We figured out the C chord. I mean, how easy is that? That's right. Nashville Cats. All right, Jeffrey Boyle. C chord. Now, how do we build a D? What's next? We got a D. Okay, we already said that. Or maybe we didn't say this yet. But also the formula of these chords, it's always going to be major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and then back to the root again. So the 1 is always major, 2 and 3 is always minor, 4, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7 diminished, back to the 8. Hopefully that's not confusing. It's major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. It's also numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's also going to be a major chord, a minor chord, major, major, minor, diminished. So it's just those 3 things you got to remember. C, D, E. You're just going up the scale alphabetically in the key of C. That is no sharps, flats. So you got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So you always know that the 1, the 4, and the 5 are major. The 2, the 3, and the 6 are minor. Ultimately, that's how it works out. And I'll show you, because you know that based on this formula, starting on the C, going up the scale, skipping 1 here, you know that it's a major. That's a major interval right there. I'm surprised that's the first I've said that yet, the interval. The big I word right there, interval. So from C to E is a major third, because it's a major chord. Now, if we start from the D, the second note, we go up, we're going to stack thirds. So we're going to skip 1 note. We go from C to D. We're going to skip the D, though. We're going to go to F. We're going to skip the G and go to A. So now we have these 3 notes, A, F, and A. No, I'm sorry, D, F, and A. That makes up a D minor chord. Right there. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, boom, bubble, burst, repeat. Says he said, interval, everybody. Take a drink of your coffee. Yes. Yeah, please do. Definitely take a drink of your coffee. And we got C, F, and A. So what we did is we took the D note, and we're stacking triads here. We're stacking thirds, rather. So if D, skip the E, go to F, skip the G, go to A. Now we can't play these 3 notes on 1 string as a chord together. So we want to do the same thing we did with the C note. We want to play it on the A and the G string. So you have the D. We're going to play this F right here. Check it out right there. So there's your dyad right there. That's a D minor dyad. D and F. Just like here's the D and the F right there. We can't play that together. It's on the same string horizontally. So we're going to play it vertically. The D and the F. D, F. A is up here. So we're going to play that on the G string. D, D, F. There's an A right there. And there's your A. There's your minor shape right there. Just like your C shape is right here. C major shape. Then you have D minor. So just like that, we have the C chord and the D minor chord. And these are all like C shapes. We're going up, we're playing a C shape. I'm only saying a C shape, kind of like the C.A.G.E.D system, where it's like, here's the C shape, because it's a famous C chord. So the same shape we're playing here. We played it here. Playing the same type of shape, but we're not playing a D major. We're playing a D minor. But look how easy it is to change these. If we wanted it to be D major, just do that. Just make that third major. This is all about just being diatonic in the key of C, right there. C, D. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, we're playing the interval drinking game here today. Give you a round of applause. And really, really good stuff here. The interval drinking game. So we know two shapes right now, the C and the D minor. D minor, have to be really specific here because I made a mistake in my last video and I called an A, which I meant for it to be A minor, but I said A, assuming because it was next to a lowercase Roman numeral 6, where it was a 6 chord, and I said A. About a dozen or so people said, hey, he said A major when it was really A minor. So I'm realizing here on this channel on YouTube that you have to really cross your T's and dot your I's. But no need to get upset about it. It's only music here, right? And plus, I make mistakes. I sure do make mistakes. So, you know, we got these two chords here. I mean, if you got anything out of this video so far, look, you got the C chord and you got a D minor chord. I mean, with those two chords right there, you could rule the world. Two chords. But it gets more fun than that because once you know these two, look, it continues going on and on and on. Start on the third note here. 1, 2, 3. Start on the E note here, right? Look what you have. E. I'm going to skip one note and we're going right up the major scale, C major scale still, starting on the third note. We know, got F, we're going to skip the F and go to the G. On the G, we're going to skip the A and go to the B. So now we have E, G, and B. And look, that's minor. So if anybody is confused about how do I distinguish between major and minor, well, that's the interval that it makes right here. From E to G, just like from D to F. It's a minor interval because it's also 1, 2, 3 half steps between them, whereas the major is 4 half steps between them. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's always going to make a major interval. In 3, it's going to make a minor interval. 1, 2, 3. Jeffrey boy, A minor or A? Well, I'm going to be real specific here from now on. Okay? E. I'm going to skip that A notes. Okay? And go to B. So just like the D minor and just like the C, I can't play a chord on one string. G and B. But I sure could play it like I did the other ones. Well, look, here's E. Here's a G on the B string. And there's your dyad again. 2 notes of a chord. Okay? Now what about the 5th? Okay, well, here it is. It was the B. I'm going to play that on the G string right there. So this shape, it's a minor shape. Whenever you have this looking shape, that's a minor chord right there. You can even hit the low E, because it's the same thing as here. So I have this. So now we have C, D minor, E minor. So now we have 3 chords so far, based off of the C major scale. With this right here, you can write a song. I mean, you have 3 chords right there. Right? Three chords. Very, very simple. Now, so we know those are 2 minor chords and 1 major chord right there. Starting on the 4th note, F, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, going up the major scale. We're almost there. We're halfway there. Living on a prayer. F. Skip the G, go to A. Skip the B, go to C. So here's the 3 notes of the chord, stacking thirds here. F, A, and C. Of course, I can't play the chord like that. So I'm going to play it again. I'm going to take use the B and the G string. F, B, and C. Look, looks just like the A, just like the C chord. It's the same thing up here. That's a typical major chord right here. C shape, because it looks like the C chord. But it's over F. So instead of playing it here, and look, once again, there's the interval. We're going to drink. Too bad we don't have enough tequila. We could do shots every time we say the big E word. I word. See, I don't know. E, I. What's the difference, right? I, E. So we have the big interval word here. Take a shot. And F to A. F to A. Look, interval. That's a major interval right there. Whenever you see that shape, no matter where you are, except on the G string, because the G to the B is a third, that would look more like this from C. Say a C right here, right there, C. That's a third shape right there because of the way the intervals work out. But if it's a C here, C, 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 C right here, C. Whenever you have your fingers like that, it's always going to be a major interval. Look, when it's on one string, and then you go down or up one string, and then 1 fret over. So C, up 1 string, 1 fret down. That is the look and the shape of a major. Even up here, even down here. It's always major. And the same thing here is with minor. Whenever it's up 1 string and down 2 frets, it's minor. Same thing here, you know. Same thing here. Same thing here. It's the same look. It's great to really picture these intervals because it's going to come in handy to find any chord anywhere you want. Really cool. But here's the F major. So now we have 4 chords here. C, D minor, E minor, and F major. But 4 chords, but really only 2 shapes. Here's the 2 major chords. And like I said, 1, 4, and 5 are major. Here's the 1, here's the 4. And then the same exact chord shape. 2 and 3 are both minor, the D and the E. So you really have 2 different shapes. You have this shape and this shape. Same thing, look, you can go. Look, I'm just shaping. Change. easy it is? All these fifths are the same. You know? If I play just the root and the fifth. And it's really great to visualize this because, look, there's another distance right there, the fifth. Fifth is always going to be right there. It's always going to be 2 strings up and then 3 frets over. It's going to be your fifth. See, look, 2 strings up and then 3 frets over. 1, 2, 3. It's a fifth interval. That's an interval. Get it in your head. If you hit the octave, it's a do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Same thing here. Do you see? You know? See what I see. Same thing. Do you see what I see? We're getting up there. Jeffrey Boyle. All right, we're halfway there, living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Where's Bon Jovi? We need him. Ozzy. So we're going to see Ozzy's farewell concert or what? You know? Is it a farewell concert or a farewell tour? I don't know. Ozman. I thought you were talking about Ozzy. You're talking about Ozman, of course. Right on. Boy. Face, blue smile. One of these days, Jeffrey is going to tell us what the heck that means. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I'm better off not knowing. This is a family channel, by the way. Well, that is the end of it. No more coffee. Unless I just spilled some on myself. I don't know. But do you have a Jerry Cherry mug? If you don't, go to jerrycherry.com. Pick one up. Just so you know, everything tastes better in a Jerry Cherry cup. So, let me know. How you guys doing out there today? Everything's good in the hood? It's almost summertime. It's spring. The weather outside, you know, in some places, man. I was in Texas, New Brunsfeld, Texas, and it was 80 degrees. And then the next day we flew over to Iowa, Sloan, Iowa, and it was in the 30s. So it really can't make up its mind, the temperature yet. It's like, what do I want to do? It's that time of year where you can't really tell yet, right? If it's hot, it's cold, we don't know. We don't really know. Okay, so we ended up on the F chord, right? Let's go up to the G. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know it's major because the 5 chord, 5 note, 5 chord, whatever you want to call it. 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, G. So let's continue up that same C major scale, skipping a note and stacking thirds, so to speak. So we have G, skip the A, go to B. So look, just like I said, I'm not making this stuff up. 4 semitones away, 1, 2, 3, 4, or a whole step and a whole step makes a G major. Skip the C and go to D. So we have G, B, and D. But of course, here's the G. I can't play the B and the D all together. So I'll take the G, take the B, and I'll play the B here on the next string. Excuse me. And look what it makes. That's that famous major shape again that everyone knows, that you know. And once again, I can't play this D like that, so I'm going to play the D on the G string. So you have G, B, and D. Just like that. It's the same shape. All your major shapes are the same. How many songs do that? I mean, you don't have to even know anything, really. Just one shape to do that. 1, 4, 5. As easy as that, you got a progression. And you know what? I guarantee that one of you could take these 3 chords and write a song. A hit song, and become a millionaire, and someone like me who's been practicing and playing all their lives won't become one. Because really, it comes down to creativity, luck, passion, whatever. But look, they're still using these same chords forever. I did a progression the other day. It was a 1, 6, 2, 5, and someone pointed out how it was this song by this artist Pink Sweats, which I never even heard of before. But it really was. It was just like, what was it? It was kind of like something like this. It was something like a... I was like a... And it's so many songs, but, you know, it's good to know that they use the same progressions in today's music because it works. It's tried and true, and it works. And anyone can take those 4 chords and write any words. You can't copyright 4 chords like that, a progression. So it's all yours. Do what you want with it. And yeah, really, really cool. Jeffrey Boyle. It's emoji from the... Oh, I got you. It's emoji from the Android phone, but if you have the Apple phone, you see it spelled out. Oh, see, face blue. Okay, so it's a face blue smiling. So it'd be a flu. Yeah, kind of like yours, right? Is that? I mean, I'm kind of colorblind here. I really am. Not completely colorblind, but certain colors I can't really see too well. I get confused. Like certain reds and greens. No, greens and browns together get a little bit confusing. Reds and orange a bit. Like when I pull up to a stoplight, if I'm far away from a stoplight, I have to look and see if it's in the middle or not to tell whether it's red or yellow. You know, that's pretty crazy, right? So it's hard with lighted colors. Okay, so we're almost done with the scale here. We did the G. Now we're at A. The 6th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The A, it's going to be an A minor. A minor, right? Not A. It's an A note, but it's going to make an A minor chord. So look, we're going to take the A, we're going to continue going up the C major scale, but we're going to skip notes. A, skip the B, C, skip the D, and E. And of course, once again, I cannot play 3 notes on 1 string together at the same time, unless I use a looper. But I have the A, the C, I'm going to play it down on the next string, on the D string. So here's the C right there. And there's that shape, that dyad minor shape. Because you only have major and minor that way. And this is going to be a minor. Now the next note up here is an E. So you have A, here's the C, and there's the E. So there's your minor. Same thing as your D. Same thing as your E minor. Same thing as your D minor. Okay? E minor, A minor. 2 chord, 3 chord, 6 chord. Look at this, the same exact fingering. Sad sound, isn't it? So you have 3 chords that are minor chords and 3 chords that are major chords. So here's the 1, the 4, and the 5, the 2, minor, the 3, minor, and the 6. And it's 2 shapes, only 2 shapes. 1 shape, that's the second shape, back to the same shape before. And look how I'm just changing my fingers. You know, just kind of, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. Where it's like these 2, my pinky and my pointer are always the same. That they're not changing at all. Because it's a 5th interval. And once again, it's always going to be 2 strings up, 1, 2 up, and then 1, 2, 3 down. third interval is going to be right here. So within this type of chord, you're always going to see the intervals there. The big I. Take a swig. Big I interval. A third shape right there. Everyone knows this chord. And this minor chord. You always see the intervals. I see that this is a minor chord now. It's just a minor third, and it's the fifth. Within this chord shape, the C type of chord shape, it's always going to be the same. So you know the intervals. And what's great about that too, if you ever want to change them, you know where you are. Well, here's the fifth. If you ever see something that says, here's the F chord. If you ever see something that says, well, F sharp 5, okay, we'll just take that fifth, sharp it. That means go up a half step. There's the F sharp 5 chord. Just as easy as that. Or what, F flat 5. Well, here's the 5. Just bring it down one note. Well, that's going to be a weird sounding chord right there, but hey, it's used. Whatever it is that you want to do. C sharp 5. Pretty cool sound, right? Just an altered. So, okay. So there's one more up there, and it's a B. So we went up the scale so far. Here's the one oddball chord, but still it's a cool chord. So you have B, skip the C, go to D, skip the E, and go to F. So you have the B, the D. I'm going to play the D on the D string. The D, E, F. I'm going to play the F on the G string. So you have D, then you have B, D, and F. But look how it makes, this is how this chord is built right here. Because of the formula, and that we're not making this stuff up, and we're not just going wherever we want to. Based on the E major scale, if I skip thirds, if I skip a note, every other note here, it's just the way it works out. Here's the B, skipping the C, hitting the D. So here's the D chord. Look, it's still a minor chord, B minor, because there's the shape. I'm spread apart here, right? Now, D, skip the E, and go to F. It's just the way the scale works out. There's E to F. So I have B, D, and F. This particular one is odd because look at the shape. That fifth is spread wider. The fifth now is 2 strings up, 1, 2, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 frets down. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Gives this wider, as opposed to here, you know how it's a fifth, normal fifth. The fifth here is flat. So this makes it a diminished chord. Same minor third here. You hear that? Diminished? Sounds different than if it was minor. If this was a regular B minor, it'd be like this. But it's not. It sounds like this. It's diminished. Every key has one diminished triad in it like this because of the formula of the way it works. You have C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A. I better say this correctly. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. And back to C again. That sounds like the major scale, only harmonized, because that's what it is. You're playing harmony. Here's the scale. Here's with the third. Look, I'm just playing up those dyad shapes. You want to add the fifth in there? Oops. Fifth, like this. Simple as that. All right. So hopefully you're enjoying this so far, getting something out of this. If you are, hit that like button. I already mentioned that twice already. Do it again. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, all that groovy stuff. So now we know 7 chords of the diatonic key, major, minor, and diminished. You know, the 1 chord, 2 chord is minor, 3 chord is minor, 4 chord is minor, major, 5 chord major, 6 chord minor, 7 chord diminished, 7 chord, or 8 chord, back to the root again. You can play arpeggios with this stuff too. It's pretty cool. Like if you wanted to do like a D minor, E minor, F major. And look, they're all the same. Minor, A minor. Now the B is weird, so it's like this. B diminished. Back to C again. As you notice, like these are all the same exact shapes based off of the shape. The C arpeggio down to the low 5th root. A minor. See, I'm hitting the F down here, the 5th down here. Just like here, root 3, 5, root 3, 5, 3, root 5, 3, root 5. Same thing with the minor. Root 3, 5, root 3, 5, 3, root 5, 3, root 5. Same thing. Here's a weird one, the diminished. 5, root 3, 5. Flat 5. It's not here, it's flat 5, but it's there. It's just the way the guitar works out. So it's really cool to be able to see the intervals within the chord. Because once you see it, that's basically all how the guitar is worked out right there. Really, really cool. Now, I want to show you something that's really, really cool too. Something probably a little bit more important than this is right here. Bar chords. And this is going to come really, really in handy. But let me just see what's up with Ozman. I have the issue. And what is that? I have an issue too. I have no more coffee right here. What is the issue? There, let me know. And so, you know, you could play chords like that. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, C again. But another way to play that would be bar chords. And it'd be like this. You know, like. Oops. Just want to play with some distortion. We kind of like not the greatest of sound right here for that, but you get the idea, right? Colorblind. Oh, same issue with colors. Yeah. Oh, interesting. That's crazy. I guess it's kind of common with guys more than with women. Let's see here. Let's just tune up for your pleasure here. So I tune also. I always check my D, and I check my the 5th up here on the B string to get my B string in tune. Right there, right? And I check my G string, the D here. I get a good D. Then I go like this. I tune my high E to here. Sounds a little sharp. Sometimes you just gotta give it a good tug right there. There you go. See, that's a little flat. And sometimes you gotta just be careful on how. You gotta just touch the fretboard. You can't be heavy on your fingers pressing because it'll go out of tune. You gotta be really light on the frets. Yeah. Same thing with the D chord, the C chord. But don't choke the chords either. Let them ring out. You know, like that. And I'm gonna get some critiques on my buzzing here. But oh well. But onto the bar chords, you have the C bar chord like this. D minor bar chord, E minor bar chord, F bar chord, G bar chord, A bar chord, A minor bar chord, D diminished bar chord, and C again. Continue down. It's the same chords up here. Jeffrey Boyle. My friend worked in electronics and could not read the resistor color code. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. And I think I'm not sure you could become a pilot either if you're colorblind because of all the colors that you see on the, which I've been flying. I fly a lot. I think I spend more time in the air lately than I do on the ground. And I'm not just talking about my head, my air head either. But yeah, pretty cool. So now it's the same thing with these bar chords. You know these bar chords? And it's the same thing, the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Check this out. Let's switch cameras here. This is going to be really, really important, really interesting. Because if you know this, then you could play more rock style and whatever. You'll know all the chords of a key. Key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, so we learned the C-shaped chords everywhere. Right? Now play the same chords, but bar chords. And that's like this shape. It sounds like this. So I did already. Here we go up here. Now, how these are made up, it just works out to where here's the root, here's the fifth, because it's like a power chord. It's a 1-5. How that's made up, if I went up the major scale here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the same note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a G. G. Or in the other chord, it was like that, right? G. Nope. It's right there. What's the rest of this chord make up? Okay, well on the skipping the D string where that G note was, up to the G string, that's a C, that's an octave. Same note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave. Well, here it is again. Same note as here, but here. So now all in this one bar chord, you have the root, the fifth, and the octave. And that gives you that full sounding chord. You know? If you wanted to chug it out like that. Now the next note up, so you're hitting 4 different strings here. The A string, the D string, the G string, and then the B string. Well, this note on the 5th fret here is an E. Guess what? Just like the E that we played here. C, D, E. But it's up an octave. So that's the 3rd. 1, 2, 3. So in a bar chord, you always have the root, the 5th, the octave again, and then the 3rd. That's going to distinguish major or minor right there. Very important, because as you'll see, a bar chord is just giving you the root, the 5th, and it's going to be the same over every chord. Except for the B, we already know that the 7th chord is always going to be flat 5. So here's where it goes, and then back to that again. See that? Which is right here. But otherwise, all 6 chords look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you have that weird 7th one. Then here. Then you have the 3rd up here. So it's going to be 2 different shapes here. Well, 3 if you count that diminished shape. But 2 distinguishing the major from minor. I'll get you 1 second, Clarence, with that. I want to read that. You're saying C minor. So if you go up to the next one, D, it's going to be this minor shape. Why? Because that's just the way it works out here. The D, here's the 5th again. If you go up 5 notes from this D, 5 notes within the C major scale, you have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's the 5th again. Just like the 5th was here in this shape chord. Here's the 5th. And of course you have your octave again. And of course you have that note. It's not going to look like this, like the C major. D major doesn't work out that way. It's minor. So you're either going to have this shape or this shape. And we already know that it's minor. We figured out that it was minor by going up here like this. By going up a minor 3rd here. Going up a whole step and half step. Or 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. Because you never know what the formula is where you are. Unless you should know that. I'm in D. So if I go up 2 notes within the C major scale, I hit F. So it's going to be an F. Here's an F right here. So it's not F sharp, that's an F sharp note. It's just an F, so it's like this. And then you have the next one, E. 1, 2, 3, E, same shape, minor. Because you have the E, the 5th. Let's continue up the E here. E, F, G, A, B. And then it's going to be a B. Here's the 5th, octave again. And then here, minor. You have an F note. It's minor. Or G rather. E, skipping the F, going to G. Minor. So far here's the bar shapes. Next one starts on the F. You know it's a major chord, so it's major. Same thing as C. Starting on the G, you know that's major. It's the same pattern. Here's the 5th, G, A, B, C, D. It's the 5th. Instead of playing that D here, you play it here. Octave and the major 3rd. So you're always going to have, in the chord, you're always going to have the 5th, the octave, and then whether it's major or minor right here. So it's major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major. So I could always see within here, the 5th string are the A string and the B string. That's the interval of major and minor. Major, minor, minor, major, major. And with the A, same thing, it's minor. You're skipping the B, going to the C, A minor, C, D, E. Here's the E, it's the 5th, the octave, and a C. Because here's the C note, C minor. I mean, the C makes the minor note. But it's up there. Same shape as the D, the E minor shape, or D minor, E minor, A minor. Look, so it's really just like the other way we played it. There were 3 shapes of major, 3 shapes of minor. Now this new way with bar chords, you have 3 shapes of major, 3 shapes of minor. And of course the one last one is a B diminished. So it's going to look a little different. It's a minor third, yeah. But the 5th, once again, is an F. So it's here. So if you go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get a F note. Which is the way it works out. So here's a diminished. It looks like this. So whenever you see me struggling trying to play that chord, it's just a diminished chord. That's the way it looks. And back to the C again. So now you have just that easy. All right. Clarence. What if you start on the sixth chord, A minor chord, in the key of C, and wanted to build the chord starting from the A minor chord and going forward for the next set of chords? That's a great question. Why don't you YouTube it? I'm just kidding. You can Google it. No, I'm just kidding. Starting on the 6th chord. Well, here, let's do that. Starting on the 6th chord right here. Showing it from this perspective here. The A here. Because I can also play it here, A minor. It's the same thing as up here. A minor, B diminished, C, okay? Doing the bar chords. So if you started on the A minor, it would just basically just start on the A minor. It's as simple as how you said it. A minor, B, half diminished, not half diminished, B diminished. We won't get into the half diminished. B diminished, C, D minor, E minor, still continuing up the chords of the C major, F, G, A minor. That's it right there. So you have A minor, B diminished, C, D minor, E minor, F, and G, A minor. So you're just taking the same chords, the 7 chords from the C, you're taking the same chords that we learned in C major, the same 7 diatonic chords of the key, only you're starting them anywhere. You could start them anywhere you'd like. You could start them on D minor. It's very common, though, which brings up another point. What I wanted to say here was with the A minor starting points, it's really cool to know that, because you could also look at that a little bit differently. You could look at the A minor, because A minor is the relative minor of C. A lot of times when people say, well, it's an A minor, like Stairway to Heaven or whatever, songs that are in A minor, it's part of the C major. Okay, which it is. It's a relative minor. It shares all the same notes and the same chords as we just pointed out. You have C major chords, then you have the A minor chords just starting on A minor. Well, there's something we can get into at another time. It's parallel minor, Or before we even do that, you could look at it to where A minor is 1. And a lot of times in the Nashville system, or the number system, however you want to call it, instead of A minor being 6, A minor could be 1 within itself. And it's really good to start thinking that way, because yes, A minor is the 6th chord of C major. If you're looking at A minor as its own thing, you could look at it, well, that's just a 1. And if you look at it as just a 1, then the next chord up would be a 2. that B diminished would be a 2. The C would be a 3. But in the numeral or the numeral or Nashville system, that 3 would be they'd call it a flat 3 or a 3 minor. No, not 3 minor. They call it like a flat 3 because really it is a flat 3. It's not a C sharp of the thing. So a 3 is typically, like a 2 whole steps away from the 1, a major away from the 1, 3, right? You're still comparing it to the major scale, but you're slightly adjusting it to make a minor. So you would call that like a flat 3 right there. So it would be a 1. That would be the 2. B would be a 2, right? 2 diminished right there. The 3 would be a flat 3. The 4, the D minor would be a 4 chord, but it would be a 4 minor. The 5 would be, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The E would be a 5 in the key of A minor. So it would be like this. It would be great. It would be a 1, 5 in minor. E, A. So it's just quite interesting stuff to E. And that's when you get into also subdominant chords. We take that E minor and you could actually make it major so that it goes back to the A nicer. Right? So that's how you get this sound. Simple as that. A is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, E minor, but make it major. And then make it dominant. And it leads nicely to the A, right? And it continues on and on. And what's really cool, we get into another lesson of parallel minor. If you take the C, if you make all that C minor, take that whole thing of A minor and just shift it up to C, you now have C minor, you have D half diminished, you have E flat major, and you have F major. So you're just continuing on the line like that. And you could share those chords within each other. But that's a whole other thing called parallel minor. All right. Got it. Thanks for your help. Awesome. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed that. And so, yeah, I think we got somewhere here today. As you could see, we played basic triad chords. The root, the third, and the fifth. We didn't get into the sevenths or the ninths or the 11ths or the 13ths. That's all for another lesson. You can get away with just this. I would take the next level. I would just continue going up to get the sevenths, which real quick would be kind of like this. You just continue stacking thirds. Where we had C, skip 1, go to 3, skip the 2, go to 3. Here's the G right here, which made the 1, 3, and the 5, right? We'll just continue from this G, skip the A, and go to B. Go to B. Now you have a C major 7. That's how you get your 7 chord right there. Same thing with D. You would go. That would be harder there. You have to play that note like this. To get a 7, D minor 7. Sound like this. It's D minor 7 like this. Same thing with the bar chord like this. E or C7. Got that 7th there. Like this. So you just continue going up and you would have 7th chords, skip a 3rd again, you get your 9th chord, skip a chord again, get your 11th, and so on. We can go into that in another type of lesson. But for now, that's how you build regular chords. And then, you can get into shell chords and stuff like that, where you're playing chords like that. These are just 7th chords. Like stuff like that. Nope. Like that. Those are just 7th chords, but it's using the same idea of what we did already. All right. So, Yeah, and what's really great about this is that someone asked me in the comments, well, what if we're playing the song in C and it's too low in key for somebody? Well, you know what? You just take the same exact principle, same exact formula, move it up to D. And it's the same thing. So you start on D. It's the same exact thing in D. D, major scale. Same thing, the same shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, diminished 7, D. So I just did the same exact thing in the key of D. With the C-shaped chords, bar chords. Hard to get up here like this. It's hard to do that. Same intervals, same everything. So instead of playing in C, you're playing in D. Same type of chords. The same, see the fifth there, see the octave, see the thirds. Right, it's all the same exact shapes. Really, really cool. All starting on the A. And of course you could do the same thing on the E string. If you start, here's C. Same thing if you start on the D. Like the C. So it's all the same. It's real easy. You could do it anywhere. A flat, B flat, wherever. It's the same exact formula, same exact way to do it in every key. I would recommend doing what I showed you today, but do it also on the E string. Start on the C as well. And build those same chords like this. It's the same shape on that chord, like on the strings, like this. Right here. Same exact thing of where you're picturing the notes. C, third, fifth, D, third, fifth, E, third, fifth, F, third, fifth, G, third, fifth, A, third, fifth, or rather C, third, fifth, D minor, third, fifth, E minor, third, fifth, F, third, fifth, G, third, fifth, A minor, third, fifth, B, half diminished. Do it down here. Or B diminished. The only reason I would say half diminished is when you get into the seventh, there'll be a regular diminished. So they call it a half diminished. B diminished and C again. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Sorry about that buzzing. 60 cycle hum there. All right, and let's see. So we talked about all that stuff. Easy to change keys. Really, really, really cool. And once you know all this stuff too, it's really the beginning of modes as well, because each starting point, just like each chord that we started on, is a mode. It's a formula from where you are in that particular scale. Like what we did, like we're in the C major scale, but we started on different notes of the C major scale, and we built the formula. Like when we're in E, we did a half step to F, and then we did a whole step to G to get the third. Well, each one of those notes in that formula, E, F, G, is a mode. So that would be E Phrygian mode right there. So it's the beginning of modes as well. And So that is basically it. Thank you very much, Clarence. Great lesson. Thank you for sharing your knowledge of the guitar, my limited knowledge, but very important, limited knowledge right there, I believe. And but love that jumbo fret telly. Yeah, me too. I'm loving the jumbo fret telly as well. Really feels good. Like I'm playing the C major scale here with the E note ringing out, and it's a Phrygian because the mode is based on the note, the chord of the bass. So if I play that E right there, it sounds like this, going up the C major scale. Here's C major scale. I'm emphasizing the E. Right, it's Phrygian sound. So it sounds. Right? It's all C major notes right there. Not one note was different than anything we've been playing in C major today. Ego was. I'm horrible with my pronunciation, but I think I got this one. Egal was. Thumbs up. Give you that thumbs back. Awesome. So any questions about this stuff, let me know. You know, if you're enjoying this video, hit that like button, hammer on the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Check out my guitar course. You know, I do have a guitar course here. Let me just talk about that for a second. It's called the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar. And in there, I do something very similar to this. I go through 4 different sections. One is fretboard memorization, where it shows you how to easily recognize every note all over the fretboard. And then I go into the second one, which is blues soloing, which I have tons of backing tracks and, you know, graphs and stuff. I go over like different things of the blues, different aspects of the blues, scales, major and minor, pentatonic shapes, modes, and their mixolydian modes. And it's mostly about feel. And, you know, the blues is easy to play, hard to feel. I go into vibrato and bending notes. Vibrato is very important. Bending the notes correctly. You know, really cool section on that. Go into the circle of fifths, which is very similar to what we're doing today, only it's in a circle. It's the same information, but it's cool to look at it different ways. And you can see on that circle all the chords laid out like a pizza, really, and slices of pizza. And it's easy to understand how about key changes and things like that with that. Then I go into another section, which is 2-5-1 progressions based on the chord, the C.A.G.E.D system. So it shows you how to play the C.A.G.E.D system all over the neck as well. So check that out. Put a link in the description for the Essential Skills Collection for Guitar. I appreciate that a bunch. And very cool. Thank you very much. Ego was. It's a good lesson from me. Blessing. Awesome. So, all right, guys. Love you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me here on a Monday. Really, really appreciate it. You know, let me know. Answer my question that I had for you, whereas how do you figure out the chords in a key that you're playing? I just explained how I do it, which is the general way of doing it. You know, like I said, I didn't make the stuff up. It's just the way it works out here. But let me know like what your thoughts were on building chords and how you go about figuring out chords in the particular key that you're in. And I would love to know, really. So remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. And if you want to see another video on the 7 chords of the diatonic key, I'll put that right up there for you. Very interesting to know. I love this, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Have a great week, y'all. Peace.